Yeon-myeong feels a jolt of shock the moment he realizes what he's looking at. The cult leader is using a forbidden technique, something dark and twisted. This isn't just some scary-looking army. These are the corpses of legendary martial masters, brought back to life as jiangshi, stiff, cursed puppets that no longer know pain or fear. The cult leader proudly calls it the Great Extreme Demon Revival Technique, like it's something worth bragging about. In truth, it's just creepy and pathetic. Can't win with skill? Then go dig up some graves. That's his plan. The battlefield gets worse by the second. Around 30 of these ancient freaks start to rise. Their presence is heavy and unnatural. Even the cult leader admits he can't fully control them. One of the jiangshi swings at Yeon-myeong. The strike is so powerful it tears the battlefield in half like paper. Yeon-myeong dodges it easily, lifting off into the sky. His movement is clean and fast, showing he's still ahead. But the dead don't stop. From behind, more of them leap toward him, fast and silent. 3 of them work together, trying to overwhelm him. Yeon-myeong slashes back, but their combined strength blocks the attack. He crashes onto one of the nearby rooftops, but before he can even get a second to breathe, more of them rush in. These cursed things have no chill and no honor. Yeon-myeong stays sharp, blocking and dodging non-stop. He keeps moving, his sword clashing again and again with the ancient dead. Something feels strange, though. One of them is using only one hand, yet the force it brings is massive. That kind of power from a one-handed corpse is just unnatural. He starts to wonder if these things can even feel pain, but the answer is clear: they can't. They aren't alive. They're just old bones and muscles filled with cursed energy. That makes them harder to stop, but also less aware. Yeon-myeong decides it's time to try something new. He grabs the arm of one of the attackers and activates the decay poison technique, something meant to rot things from the inside out. If they can't feel pain, maybe they can still fall apart. Meanwhile, the cult leader, full of himself as always, tells Snakey about the 5 golden elements binding talisman, claiming it's a special trap that even the strongest evil spirits can't break. According to him, once this talisman is in place, no one can escape it on their own. He acts like he's just played some brilliant move. Snakey starts to feel sharp pain spreading through his body. The talisman's power begins to tighten around him. The cult leader, grinning like an idiot who thinks he's clever, says that Snakey should stop resisting because he plans to make good use of him. He still thinks he's the one holding all the power here. Snakey, never one to back down, tells him to go ahead and try. Being tied up is one thing, but that doesn't mean the cult leader has anything left in the tank. After all, keeping 30 ancient monsters under control has to cost something. If he wasn't already running low, he soon will be. Snakey brings up an interesting point. These jiangshi aren't just flailing around. They are actually using martial arts and internal energy. That means the energy has to come from somewhere. And the most likely source is the cult leader himself. What a genius plan, overworking your own power supply until it burns out. That's not strategy. That's desperation with a big mouth. The cult leader tries to act smart again. He says this technique isn't like the usual jiangshi methods. Settling a soul into a body might be easy, but there are problems. If the soul belongs to someone else, the body fights back. If it's the same soul and body, then the person tries to resist control. So, he says their ancestors figured out a new way. Instead of full souls, they extract the will, just enough to use their skills but not enough to think. That way, they don't need careful control. Basically, they turned ancient masters into puppets with no brains. Yeon-myeong keeps fighting, wearing himself down with every block and strike. Each attack takes more energy, and still the wave of corpses keeps coming. It's a brutal, unfair battle. Snakey watches those corpses fight and can't help but speak again. He says it's disgusting to force someone into slavery after death. These people can't even breathe, yet they're being used like weapons. The cult leader agrees without shame. He says their sect spent years researching this horror. They finally found a way to keep the bodies running. It all depends on feeding them demonic energy, collected through special talismans. These talismans absorb power from weaker demons and store it. Snakey, disgusted, asks if that's even possible. The cult leader, always eager to show off his garbage knowledge, explains more. Apparently, they got their hands on the remains of 3 energy-absorbing fiends, beasts that once had the ability to steal energy from others. Long ago, their talismans were studied and copied. The souls of the ancient masters were imprinted with the same energy-absorbing ability. Now, by feeding off the energy of living, low-level demons, these jiangshi can move, fight, and use their old martial skills without needing commands. It's not genius, it's not power, it's just a bunch of grave-robbing creeps stealing from the dead and the weak to look strong. Snaky looks at the cult leader with pure disgust and demands to know if this rotting pile of trash has even a shred of respect, either for the dead or for the living. The cult leader, with that same greasy smile, answers in a way only a fool would. He acts surprised that an evil spirit like Snaky could even talk about respect, as if Snaky being born from resentment means he's not allowed to care. Then he goes off with more cult nonsense, saying it's honor to serve the divine cult, dead or alive. Then, without warning, the cult leader says Snaky won't serve willingly, so he might as well tear the spirit out by force. His hand starts glowing with cursed energy as he puts it into the head of Snaky. Pain follows instantly, sharp and unbearable. Snaky cries out, but the cult leader only laughs, enjoying the suffering. He calls it an experience, as if it's some lesson being handed out. He barely starts the spirit extraction before he stops. Something is wrong. Something doesn't add up. He looks confused. Then his brain finally catches up. Snaky's spirit isn't there in the way he expected. He realizes Snaky is bound to Yeon-myeong, who carries the bloodline of Tang Family. That connection protects Snaky, and unless Yeon-myeong cuts that bond himself, the cult leader can't touch the spirit. Instead of accepting defeat, this coward shifts his plan again and says it's better to kill Snaky than let him remain a problem. Snaky, even through the pain, mocks him. He knows Yeon-myeong won't fall so easily. The cult leader, now slightly less smug, admits Yeon-myeong is strong. But then he goes right back into his usual nonsense, saying strength doesn't matter if energy runs out. He thinks Yeon-myeong's internal energy won't last long against undead monsters that never get tired or stop. On the battlefield, Yeon-myeong is already thinking through the fight. Cutting off limbs doesn't stop these things. They still crawl, swing, and fight without slowing down. Their numbers feel endless. Worse, these corpses aren't just swinging blindly. They're protecting their bodies with energy, actually using techniques they had in life. Yeon-myeong's sword strikes bounce off more than they break. He quickly realizes that unless he destroys their heads or crushes their bodies completely, they won't stay down. Trying to kill all 30 one by one would waste too much time and strength. Using a massive technique to clear them out in one go might be better, but that comes with another danger. The moment he charges up a big move, the others will strike from hidden angles. They move like animals, not soldiers, yet their attacks come with sharp timing. It's not planned teamwork, but it's still hard to deal with. Using pure internal energy to blow them away would mean opening all his meridians. That level of release is risky even for him. And without Snaky to support or back him up, it becomes even harder. Yeon-myeong knows he only has one real option. He must use a big, sweeping technique to wipe them out in a single move without leaving any weak spots exposed. He has to make it perfect. These corpse creeps won't give him a second chance. Yeon-myeong stays locked in the fight, cutting down Jongshur one after another. The battle is non-stop, his breathing steady, but his body begins to tire. Just then, he hears Snaky in his mind, calm and clear, like a steady stream in chaos. Snaky tells him that he will say it just once, so he has to listen carefully. Snaky says that he's speaking through spirit concentration. Snaky tells Yeon-myeong to fill the sky with everything he sees, his life, hopes, dreams, memories, and choices. All those things he has learned, accumulated, and believed to be right. And if he cannot handle it, he will have no choice but to fall. Meanwhile, the cult leader is smirking like a clown who thinks he just won a game, saying the fight is almost over. He praises Yeon-myeong as if he already lost. But just then, the battlefield changes. In just a few seconds, several Jongshur are gone, blown apart instantly. They aren't knocked back. They're completely destroyed, torn apart like wet paper in a storm. The cult leader stops talking. That smug face goes blank, as if someone unplugged his only working brain cell. Yeon-myeong stands among the chaos with a calm grin. He understands now. Those mysterious words of Snaky lit something deep inside him. A memory came back. His mother once told him that the true name of Myriad Heaven's flower Rain was simply Myriad Heavens. The flower Rain was added later, a name that captured the bloody beauty of battle. An image of energy strikes falling like petals, each one deadly. He also recalls a passage from the book of Yu Gil-jun, the leader of the Black Death Alliance. It said that the heart of every martial art is hidden in its name. That message finally makes sense now. His own master used to say that any martial art, once its core is applied to a sword, becomes swordsmanship. For too long, Yeon-myeong chased the form and mystery of the invisible guest's technique. He studied its strange movements, trying to copy every detail. But he missed what mattered most. The power wasn't in the tricks. It was in the conviction. He finally understands. The real strength of the technique isn't in the hidden weapons. It's about putting everything, his memories, his will, his entire journey, into one perfect moment. a single slice carrying the weight of 2 lives. Even if he and his ancestor both use the same eye technique to see energy flow, their vision is different. The invisible guest saw trajectories of hidden weapons honed over a lifetime. Yeon-myeong sees the path of the swords he has wielded, not just in this life, but the one before, and to infuse all his being into those trajectories. That is Myriad Heaven Flower Rain for him in its true form. He says Flower Rain doesn't suit him, and he will make his own full sky bloom. Just then, the air begins to shake. Energy builds around Yeon-myeong like a rising storm. The cult leader, so full of trash talk before, now looks pale and nervous. His great plan is falling apart, and the fear in his eyes says everything. Yeon-myeong lifts his blade, announcing this is his Myriad Heaven Sword Draw. Yeon-myeong unleashes Myriad Heaven Sword Draw. The moment it activates, the entire battlefield falls silent. Not even the wind dares to move. Everything freezes for 1 heavy second. A strange green light floods the area. The color fills the air like mist, wrapping everything in an eerie glow. Then the swords come down. Not real swords, but energy shaped like countless blades, each one sharp and precise. The strikes fall from the sky in a perfect pattern, moving so fast they barely leave shadows. Every juncture in the path gets sliced apart like warm butter under a hot knife. Their so-called body-protecting energy doesn't even slow the blades. The powerful corpses of the extreme demon masters, once thought to be untouchable, get torn apart without resistance. The cult leader, standing nearby with his jaw halfway to the ground, finally realizes the truth. This isn't just any martial technique. Yeon-myeong is using the true form of Myriad Heaven Flower Rain, the ultimate technique. All his fake confidence drains away. The pride he had in controlling dead masters means nothing now. His walking corpses are getting folded like cheap laundry. Snakey is watching, and a small part of him wonders if this might be a secret technique once used by the original invisible guest. Whatever it is, the scene before him is so beautiful and powerful that it leaves him speechless. No matter how many times he sees it, it always pulls him in. 3 of the undead masters somehow survive the main attack. Yeon-myeong notices and feels a small sense of respect. If they can move inside this technique, then they must have been terrifying in life. But he also understands something else. They didn't choose this fate. They didn't ask to be puppets in some loser's magic trick. He decides to give them peace. Another move follows. A soft glow surrounds his blade, and he unleashes another strike. It's graceful and quiet, but deadly. From far away, the battlefield looks like a scene from a painting. A storm of green swords falls from the sky, clearing everything in its path. It doesn't just feel like a technique, it feels like art made from destruction. The remaining corpses are vanishing. No noise, no struggle, just freedom. Even the cult leader, full of pride and nonsense earlier, now knows this fight is getting dangerous. His plan, built on stolen power and old corpses, is crumbling fast. Yeon-myeong steps back, and then suddenly, a voice surprises him. One of the masters, right before fading away, thanks him. That moment hits hard. It confirms what he already knew. These weren't just mindless tools. They were warriors. Now, they're free. After the fight, Yeon-myeong pulls back his giant spirit Snakey. He gives Snakey a hard time for getting caught earlier, saying it was embarrassing. Snakey fires back, blaming the sorcerer's sneak attack. He knows he could have won otherwise. Their bickering, as usual, sounds like 2 friends who refuse to admit they care. Then Yeon-myeong shifts tone. He says if Snakey hadn't revealed the secret of Myriad Heaven Flower Rain at that moment, the fight would have dragged on. He owes him one. Snakey lights up like a child being told he did something right. It's rare praise, and he knows it. But the moment doesn't last. Yeon-myeong casually says it would have been much better if Snakey had just told him the secret before the fight even started. Snakey sighs, realizing the heartwarming moment just got stepped on. That's Yeon-myeong for you, too honest for his own good. Looking around, Snakey points out that the battlefield has been completely destroyed. Craters, broken stones, and a strange silence cover the area. No matter how often he sees it, he knows one thing for sure. Myriad Heaven Sword Draw is no ordinary skill. It's a force of nature. Yeon-myeong notices something shifts in the rubble. Then he sees the cult leader crawling out, still alive. It's a surprise, but not completely unexpected. This guy is, after all, the so-called leader of the demon sect. He's like a cockroach in human form, surviving what should have crushed him flat. Yeon-myeong mocks him, saying he has nothing left. No cards, no army, no plans. Honestly, it would have been smarter for him to just stay buried and save himself the embarrassment. Instead, the cult leader climbs out with his usual loudmouth, saying everything that just happened was only part of a grand plan for their sect's expansion. He calls it groundwork, as if all this mess wasn't a total disaster. Burning with hate, he refuses to let go of his pride. He raises his arm and summons something new, the blue armored ghost. The spirit appears and its energy surges outward, filling the area with a heavy force. Even Yeon-myeong feels the weight of it. It's not the usual pressure of a normal attack. It feels like something ancient and unnatural has entered the battlefield. The cult leader explains that this blue armored ghost has no power on its own, but when he wears it directly, it becomes useful. In seconds, the spirit fuses with him, his body changes. The result is horrible. His final form looks like a failed monster cosplay, ugly, clunky, and way too dramatic. He tries to look cool. He strikes a pose like some forgotten background villain from a bad martial arts play. Then something shoots through the air and lands in his hand. It's the giant sword once carried by that first spirit Yeon-myeong defeated earlier. The cult leader proudly grabs it, declaring he'll kill Yeon-myeong for the future of his doomed cult. His eyes start glowing with fake intensity. He warns Yeon-myeong to prepare for the end, but at this point, it just sounds like someone reading villain lines from a badly written script. Yeon-myeong doesn't flinch. He simply turns his dagger into a proper sword, calm and ready. The cult leader charges in with that oversized blade, swinging it like he's trying to knock down buildings. Yeon-myeong dodges with ease and returns with multiple clean strikes, cutting across openings that the clumsy monster keeps leaving behind. The cult leader keeps attacking with no real plan, just wild, endless swings like a child with a toy too big for his hands. It's messy, it's desperate. Yeon-myeong waits for the right opening, then strikes using the wave ripple point, a technique that should have ended the fight right there. The cult leader shatters on impact. His body crumbles instantly, but something strange happens. A glow spreads across the broken pieces. The body starts pulling itself back together piece by piece, regenerating in seconds. That's not normal, not even for demonic monsters. Yeon-myeong realizes that this is getting dangerous. The cult leader lands a powerful hit that Yeon-myeong blocks just in time, but the force behind it is real. Snakey, watching closely, warns him. The harness, the strange armor, is absorbing damage and healing far too quickly. Even his poison can't sink in fast enough. Every second wasted gives this clown more chances to swing that ridiculous sword around. The cult leader starts explaining the trick behind his overpowered ability. He says the blue armored ghost spirit will keep regenerating endlessly as long as his internal energy doesn't run out. It's not strength, it's just a cheap loop. He also points out that Yeon-myeong has already used up a lot of energy in the earlier battle. According to him, this explains why the current attacks of Yeon-myeong are losing force. His confidence starts growing again, though it's the same old story, loud words, no lasting results. Yeon-myeong keeps calm and tells Snakey exactly what needs to happen. There's no need for fancy plans, just one goal. Drain that idiot's internal energy to zero. He then nods to Snakey telling him to do it, and Snakey replies, he thought Yeon-myeong would never ask. He reacts immediately, and poison starts flowing from Snakey into Yeon-myeong's body. But instead of harming him, it turns into pure internal energy. The cult leader could not believe it. Yeon-myeong's power begins rising fast. His energy grows in massive waves, and in just a few seconds, he becomes even stronger than before. The balance of power flips instantly. Now the strikes come fast, too fast to count. The cult leader is cut again and again, thousands of times in just moments. His so-called regeneration is struggling to keep up. He stares in shock, unable to understand what's happening. Yeon-myeong is receiving energy from an evil spirit, something that should be impossible according to his outdated logic. Each hit lands with more precision and power. The attacks are no longer just sword swings. They are a message. He never stood a chance. The cult leader, who once called himself the master of the battlefield, now questions reality. He looks at Yeon-myeong like he's seeing something beyond human. He can't believe what's in front of him. His mind, once full of plans and schemes, now fills with panic. Then he does what cowards always do when they see their end. He runs. Not a dramatic escape, not a noble retreat, just pure, sweaty panic. He turns and bolts like a thief who knows the guards are catching up. His blue armor shines, but his pride is shattered. All that talking, all that boasting, and now his back is the only thing anyone sees. Snakey watches him flee and lets out the most fitting line of the day. Out of all the so-called sorcerers who try to twist heaven's laws, this guy might be the most ridiculous one yet. A coward wearing armor doesn't make him strong. It just makes him shiny garbage. From far away, even while running, his energy leaks into the air. He's trying to hold it together, but his strength is slipping with every step. Meanwhile, far away, inside the demon sect's hidden headquarters, a group of elders stand watching the chaos unfold. Leading them is cult Lady Ma-ui, who remains silent, but clearly shaken. One elder finally asks her who their leader is fighting with so much desperation. Even Maui can't believe what she's seeing. The once feared headquarters of the divine cult, reduced to ashes without a trace. She answers quietly, saying she doesn't know. The leader gave her only one order: gather the demon elders and wait near the foot of Tian Shan. That's all. Now, she stares at the battlefield with a sinking feeling, unsure if everything is about to collapse. She brought the best. These elders are only weaker than the sect leader and the left and right envoys. In her mind, they should have been more than enough to defeat any intruders, but what she sees now shakes her belief. The display of power is something beyond human. The air itself trembles with force. None of this matches the rules of a normal fight. The elders hesitate. Even with their pride and power, they know stepping into this battle means certain death. Maui worries the leader might fall here, but before her thoughts settle, someone shouts, "He's coming down." The cult leader lands on the ground, barely holding himself together. Maui cries tears of relief, thanking the heavens he's alive. While running like a dog, the cult leader praises her for completing her task quickly. There's no time for more words. He grabs her and begins to run again. A typical move: run first, talk later. Maybe he thinks it will save face. Too bad Yeon-myeong is already on him. A clean strike hits. The cult leader barely blocks it, stumbling from the impact. The demon elders, watching from a distance, are stunned. All this time, their mighty leader was struggling against one young warrior. That truth hits them harder than the attack. Yeon-myeong stands calm, still fresh. The leader, however, is a mess, regenerating constantly but clearly worn out. His movements lack sharpness. His body is starting to break down from the inside. Yeon-myeong realizes this guy is more stubborn than expected. On top of that, there are still plenty of demon sect followers lurking around. He didn't expect this many left over from a rotting empire. Snaky senses their energy and scoffs. These demons might be many, but none of them even compare to his little toe. They're numbers without quality, just background noise in a battlefield meant for legends. One of the demon elders, desperate and shaking, commands the others to charge in and support their supreme cult leader. He tells them to fight with the will to die and stop Yeon-myeong no matter the cost. But the cult leader holds up his hand and stops them. He says it would be useless. If they jump in now, they won't last more than a few seconds. Throwing bodies into a storm won't win the war. According to him, sacrifice only means something if it brings results worth the cost. Just dying isn't enough. Then he gives a new command, a dark one. He orders them to unleash the 5 stars of the reverse blood demon technique. And that was it from today's video. I hope that you liked the video, and if you did, hit that like button as the goal for today is 1,500 likes. Comment next part down below to see what happens next. Also, consider subscribing with the notification bell on to get notified as soon as a new video drops onto the channel. You can also join the channel to support me financially and watch videos before public release. I'll meet you in the next video. Thanks for watching.